Hey guys, how is it going? I'm gonna try to get this like that. Get him in the video. Good. I got my phone balanced up on the camera again. We're gonna start doing some videos. So first things first, with this little guy, we're gonna take him out because I've got the camera on top of the scale. So what I go ahead and do is I zero it out, and then I put him back in, and 61 grams. So this is a great way of weighing your animals while you're cleaning them. And it's just all around fun stuff. I mean, I get to document each one as I go, and howdy doody. So what kind of projects are you guys really looking forward to in 2018? Oh geez, here comes the... Try to hold it steady. I'm going to be working a lot on the Black Knight stuff, and like this guy, he is 50% Turkmenicus and het for Murphy patternless. So he is going to be breeding this year to a couple geckos. And hopefully we'll get some fun stuff. So that's what I'm looking forward to. So we're just gonna zip on through geckos tonight, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So we did go ahead and get a Turk Murphy pairing so far. Let's see how much she weighs. Getting down there. It's a female. And we've got... She laid one egg in the tub. It's obviously not good. Calcified as hell. But she did lay a really good egg in the bin. So this is a turkey patty project. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some deli cups. All right. Some stuff to do this. So this is gonna be egg what? 5, 6, 7, 8. Eggs 7 and 8. Alright. One, 5, 18, 16, 17. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and stick this. Doesn't feel like a fertile egg, but we're gonna incubate it anyways and see what happens. Alright, there we have it. Got the egg ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and stick it in the female incubator. This is a 50% Turkmenicus, Het 4 Murphy patternless. So essentially, she's hypo. But, I mean, genetics are what really makes each one. So it really depends on what the parents are, because her father is a pure Turkmenicus. So he is one of the leopard geckos from Turkmenistan. It's actually a completely different species, so she would technically be a hybrid. Which is pretty cool. I mean, people have been struggling with the Turkmenicus hybrids for years. And now we're going to have some hybrids that are going to be pure Murphy patternless. Which is going to be super cool. We can hope. Her eggs weren't that great, so we're going to find out what happens. But, you know, you gotta hope for the best, but expect the worst, I guess. That's the saying, anyways. Don't want to give her too many worms. Give her 5. Give her 5 worms. Whenever there are worms left over, I generally will just give 5 super worms for each feeding until they eat all 5. Then I give a full bowl. It helps regulate their weight and keep them all good. Better turn on the scale. So like this one is coming up. She is ready to breed. She's not eating, which is totally normal for leopard geckos. She's at 60 grams. Female. She is from the Clear Eyed Eclipse project. So one of the ones that I'm really looking forward to. It's a project that I've had for quite a while, and I had it back when it was Abyssinian. If you've ever heard that term in leopard geckos, it's a animal that it's supposed to be looking albino, but just have black pupils, which of course you can see from her. She's got some nice black markings on her head. People would argue that it's not exactly black in an Abyssinian. It's like a dark brown, kind of like a chocolate albino. You know, like when you incubate Trempers really low and you get the chocolate colored, or the cinnamon. Those are ways to make those morphs, is by just a lower incubation. And you get a cinnamon or a chocolate albino. So kind of one of the little tricks. Thank you. She's supposedly a giant, so hopefully we'll get some giant clear-eyed eclipses. That's the plan anyways. So another thing, people always ask me, like, what's their poop supposed to look like? And here it is. You want a nice hard nugget. I mean, they should just, like, you should be able to tip your tub and dump them out. You shouldn't have to scrape and wipe and all of that. But it's give and take. I mean, you're not always going to get nuggets. Some breeders have sloppy poops no matter what. So here's another one. She's 57 grams. This is sibling to that other girl. She's a giant het for the clear-eyed eclipse. Het for eclipse. Hopefully we'll get some clear eyes. Thanks for watching, and we'll try to get some more videos up tomorrow too. So we did get to bring home a lot of geckos from Vegas, which, you know, isn't exactly what we wanted, but we also sold a bunch. And here is one that didn't sell, and I don't know why. She is a totally solid-eyed eclipse. Just like A+ eyes. Totally solid. Really what you want if you're going for solid-eyed eclipse. But, you know, not all of them go. We also didn't sell the pastel. So, I'm actually going to be breeding the pastel this year because I've got a really cool male. Really cool male to breed to her. And I put the swirl at the bottom of the tub just because the camera has problems focusing on the tunnel. So, got a swirl at the end of the tunnel. Just for focusing. So this is going to be one of my super secret special projects. I've been working with the lavender stuff for quite a few years. This is a reverse stripe lavender. She's basically what you would be looking for in a lavender project. Really nice milky colors and good purple coloration, purple lavender. I guess a lot of guys didn't want a purple project, so they just called it lavender. Everybody's got lavender. I'll go ahead and collect some eggs. 2 really nice eggs. This is going to be great. I'm going to incubate these eggs for female. So that'll be... She's the light one. Oh, it says dark. Where is she? No, she's the light one. That's going to be... Alright. Go ahead and pop these eggs in the female incubator. This is going to be amazing. I can't wait until these hatch. Hopefully. Hopefully you guys freak and you're like, oh, cool. Or me. A lot of times people say other people can think what they want. They don't have to look at all the animals all day. So hopefully it's something cool. I'm going to go ahead and just set the eggs on top of the incubator. That way I don't have to keep opening it all the time. So, yes, I will be having a bunch of lavender geckos next year. That's just something that I produce every year that it sells well. You know, and people appreciate it. Like, when I do wholesale, they appreciate getting some colorful lavender stuff that's not totally normals. And, yeah. It's just... It's nice to be nice. I mean, especially now that the community feeling is just tanking again. I mean, it's almost like the Gecko Wars of 2014 all over again. But with, like, completely new people. Totally new people. I don't even know what's going on. I really just don't like getting involved in all that stuff. It's just a lot of drama. Oh, she was 60 grams. Oh, jeez, I keep forgetting to... 16, 8, 60 grams female. She is 5 years old this year. Sometime this year. She hatched in 2013. She hatched in July 18th of 13. So she's 4.5 years old. Not bad. Who did you breed with? You are a Chubosaurus. Come on. I gotta check to see who this girl bred with, because I always breed by proportion, and as you can see, her hips have already widened and now she is developing eggs, so she is totally ready. I might even actually lose out on this clutch. 13, 66 grams, female. This is another one that's, she hatched June 23rd of 13, so she's also 4.5 years. Oh, sorry, I didn't see your comment. You gotta do it again, and I'll pay attention this time, I promise. It's hard looking at my phone while I'm looking at the tub and cleaning and all that. And then, of course, they delete it, so you can't see it after the stream. I can't go and see what you guys said. So anything I miss, I'm totally sorry about. But if it was a question about breeding or, you know, anything, just pop it up again as a new comment and I'll look and see here. Huh. Not what I was expecting. Amazon shipped shipped my stuff finally. I ordered a bunch of stuff for work and they finally shipped it. That's great. Thanks, Amazon. I paired a super hypotangerine male with a Tremper and I got a visual wild type Y. That's just a normal. That's just what you're gonna get. I mean, really, what we could do is we could shave off the little dots on a pair of dice, and you could write the different morphs that you're going to get, and each time you roll the dice, it doesn't necessarily mean... Okay, so you could put it this way. Like, I have a super snow, and I breed it to a max snow. 50% are supposed to be super snow, 50% are supposed to be max snow, but really what it is you flip a coin, you know, it's a 50% chance on each egg. So if you have something that's, you know, a lot of morphs, a lot of genes, let's say, and you breed it together, each egg is going to be that equation. So if you get something really crazy, you might not land on that end product for, you know, maybe even a couple of years. If that makes sense. I think we're being invaded in a second. But if you have a more in-depth question, you can always contact me through the BB Studios website. It should be linked on my YouTube profile, and I'm totally happy to always answer questions. Actually, answering emails is what I love to do during the day when I'm on my breaks, because I work at work. I promise. Now this is going to be, he's almost clear-eyed eclipse. This is a cross that I created for outcrossing. And he is so bold, so cool. He's got some Halloween mask in him, some bandit. But I'm not claiming any of those genes. So even if I breed it to normals, get visual normal, but if I breed the babies back to the male, they will be visual. Sometimes. So like, I mean, we could say this. You breed a Tremper to a hypo, tangerine, right? So then what you're going to get is, I mean, the Tremper's probably going to have hypo and tangerine in it already, unless you get like unless it's like a very typical standard looking Tremper, albino. So you breed this like hypo tangerine Tremper to your hypo tangerine. You're going to get normals that, you know, you're going to get normals, you're going to get hypos, you're going to get tangerines, you're going to get hypotangerines, you're going to get super hypotangerines, you're going to get super hypotangerine carrot tails, super hypotangerine baldies, and super hypotangerine carrot tail baldies, all from that pairing, essentially. So what you want to do is you can breed it back to the parents, which you shouldn't do too often. Or you can get 2 pairs of geckos. Always what's best is getting as many pairs to that project as possible. And unrelated is the best. For obvious reasons of inbreeding. A lot of times you breed say you breed a parent to an unrelated gecko and you breed the babies back to the parent. Well, if you got it from like a pet store that gets it from a wholesaler, those animals are already inbred. So that father or the mother could have issues. And a lot of times breeders will have animals that are very inbred. Like this guy here, he had to be outcrossed. The clear-eyed eclipse stuff was not doing good. It wasn't producing as many animals anymore. And you know, I know Ron says 7 to 9 years of crossing siblings is okay in reptiles, but I think that has to do with major deformities and genetic issues. 2 years, 3 years of baby to parent is probably not very good. 1 year of baby to parent is probably okay. You'll find out right away if your babies are infertile or you're having problems. You'll find out if you should bring some new blood into it. And, you know, that's just something you can do. A lot of times what people will do is, you know, like I really push for breeding up and up trading. So you get something like, well, I have 2 males, 4 females, 1 baby, but the other male is normal. Do you know if he's het for anything, the normal? Because, you know, you might even get your end goal using him. If he's het for Tremper and you have Trempers, then it really depends on how much genetic info you have on your animals. A lot of my animals, I have my own personal 7 years of information, of family tree going back, and then I even have family history going back even farther that I got from the breeders, because back in like 2010 to 2012, genetic information was golden. Like that is what everybody wanted. They only wanted to buy your animals. He has carrot tail, so that's great. I mean, that is really going to help your hypo and all of that. But I would try to get as much genetic info from the breeders as possible. A lot of times pet stores won't tell you where they got them from. So, yeah. And that's exactly it. Yeah, if he's from a pet store, then, you know, that's bad bananas for you, but, I mean, maybe not. What's your problem, dude? Let's see. Let's see if we can get a shot of his eyes. See his eyes? They're just snake-eyed. So, I mean, that's showing what you can get from the cross. But I would definitely, if you're going to breed, I gotta change my gloves because I'm changing to the next rack now. If you're going to breed, I would totally encourage getting animals with proper genetic information. Some of the animals, I understand that you guys think that sometimes it's a little aggressive to pick them up some fast, but my animals I have to breed for pets, so they have to get used to, you know, people picking them up really fast. I'm always gentle with them. I don't squeeze them, anything like that. I cup them. But when you are breeding animals, you have to understand that, you know, a lot of times people are going to buy them for pets for their kids. And kids will destroy animals. So you got to get everybody used to being handled aggressively. I mean, you can't take, you know, I don't know. It's just, I guess that's just an opinion thing. Oh, no, I didn't squeeze his head at all. I just held him. No, I don't. He's a breeder, so I can't pop his head off. But here is a super giant female. This is a super giant Tremper Patty, also called a SGTPA, super giant Tremper patternless albino. She's 88 grams. No. So, and you know, I really don't know anyone that is doing the family trees anymore as far as breeding goes. Some people might give you pictures of parents, but even at that, it's really hard. Well, I can't do that with... Yeah, it's, you know, that's just... I started out with pet store animals. You can breed them and see what you get. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be, about fun. I'm not saying that you have to go out and spend thousands of dollars on animals and do all of that. Yeah, it would be great if everybody had that kind of money, but that's just not what's up. I mean, most breeders started out with pet store animals. They might even still have those pet store animals. I don't have the ones that I got from pet store because I found out who they came from, and when I tried to add new blood to my collection, I found out that the Het Ember stuff that I was breeding back in 2005 was also Het for rainwater. So yeah, that wasn't too much fun. But my mail was... I wish the comments wouldn't... Let me see if I can... No, I can't see the comments. No. Why don't you email me and let me know what is going on, because I'm sure I'm missing some of these comments, and you know, maybe we can figure something out and we'll just see what happens. But who knows, maybe I'll send some stuff off as a breeder loan for you, because it sounds like you've got some good animals. You just need ones that have a genetic history, or even ones for testing. I've got animals for testing, so I'm sure we can get you figured out. And this girl is going to be bred to marble eye. So we're going to go for marble eye, giant marble eyes that are het for tremper and patternless, Murphy patternless. Testing is when you have an animal and you want to find out what genetics it has, you breed a powerhouse to it. So you breed something that is het for a bunch of things, or something that's visual for a bunch of things. Come on, girl. Oh, it's okay. This is one of my old breeders. This is her last year. 62 grams. She's number 027. 62 grams. Female. She's been laying eggs already. Testing, you want to test for all kinds of stuff. Like if I thought that these, if I thought that my supergiant tremper patties were het for eclipse, I would maybe test an ember against them. You know, or an eclipse, even just an eclipse, and find out what's going on with them. But if you guys want to see just how big a supergiant egg is, look at that thing. This is really interesting. Do you have Facebook or a page? Yeah, Thor Gecko on Facebook. Look at that giant egg. That thing is huge. And that's just one that came out of this girl here. So, I mean, this is probably 20 grams in eggs. This egg's probably 10 grams itself. And the baby's actually going to grow. So I wouldn't be surprised if I got, you know, a 10 gram gecko out of that egg. But, yeah. Yeah, if you want to hit me up on Facebook or however, I mean, I'm open to all that stuff. I also own Late Night Leos, the Leopard Gecko radio show. So if that's something that you're into, then you know you can check that out. We've got a lot of videos on this YouTube channel for Late Night Leos. You can roll through the albums and listen to them. They're just amazing. Like, breeders from around the world have been on the radio show. I mean, everyone from Ron Tremper, Steve Sykes, Jeff Scott, Josh Hawley up in Washington, Brian from Zoo Guy Geckos, the famous zookeeper that was at Memphis. I think he's in Chicago now at the zoo. Just amazing people. 009010. Already got 10 eggs this year. It's so interesting, all the new breeds coming out. Yeah, I mean, Lemon Frost, I'm not so excited about it. I've known about it for a long time, since it came out. Now everybody's freaking out because of the tumors. But nobody wanted to listen to me before, so, I mean, a couple years ago, I got shot down all the time. 027 026. So these eggs that I just showed you, those are from Beast, my supergiant tremper patty, to this girl, she was sold as a supergiant tremper patty, but she is not at all. I don't know, sometimes you just get small supergiants, but all of the babies hatch out huge, so we'll see what happens. I'm going to incubate the first clutch for female, and then I'll go ahead and incubate the second clutch for male, just because I like to get my first clutches as female, so that way when it comes to be their second breeding year and I breed them, or their second year of age and I breed them, then they're close to 2 years, if not actually 2 years. Which is, you know, very important. I mean, you can breed them at 18 months, but I like to wait as close to 2 years as possible. But breeding on their second season is always safe, if they're proportionally looking like they're able to breed. I mean, you wouldn't want to breed a 3-year-old that's super skinny. All right, even if it's ovulating. I just don't see the point in getting that couple clutches of eggs out of her. I have plenty of females that don't breed every year. And they're not necessarily underweight. I just, I don't want to overload myself. Cool, yeah, hit me up on Facebook. I got the page there. It's lots of fun. And Late Night Leos also has a page on Facebook if you want to roll through there, and it just has links to the YouTube videos that are on this channel. So I always post all the Late Night Leos videos to this channel, and they're just videos as in a picture, and then there's the audio from the radio show. So it's not like a video or anything like that. We never got into that. There's not a lot of gecko people that want their face on the internet. I don't know why. I mean, the earlier shows when it was a paid, when we had sponsors, we had like 10 to 15 sponsors for each show, and we could talk for 3 hours, just on and on and on about geckos and life and all that stuff. But, that's just the way it goes. We're getting way, way into close to an hour. This next gecko is pretty special. I don't know if you guys have followed any pied, like the true pied, not Super Snow Eclipse, but like true pied animals. There's been 3 different genetic lines out there, and Ron Tremper had 2 when we interviewed him on Late Night Leos. And this is from the 3rd line. Super bad MBD. You see that back right leg is just ridiculous. Super big overbite. A lot of people are saying to breed her anyways, but I'm really steering clear of that. I'm not too big on all that stuff, not unless I get like a clean bill of health from a vet saying she's okay to breed. But yeah, she's just wrecked. But this is the only baby that I have left from Skull, who is one of the pied lines. And hopefully someday we'll get a pied animal that's not Eclipse and Super Snow and all that terrible, terrible fun stuff. But we'll see. So she's 53 grams. And you are TG15. Female. Really sad. Like, I did everything to keep this animal alive because Skull was like my number one, just like coolest gecko. We named her Skull. Actually, I think whoever originally bred her named her Skull, and everybody always thought she had a big old scar on her face because she looked like... How many leopard geckos do you have in total? Probably more than I should. For being so busy lately. I don't know. I keep cutting back on geckos, and I think maybe 50, somewhere around 50. I never counted once we got back from Vegas, but probably somewhere around that. I don't know. That's like one of those... It's so hard. It's like when you ask one of those people that's like, those families that just keep popping out babies, and you ask them, hey, how many kids do you have? And they're, oh, I got like 6 or 12 kids now. I mean, I don't know. Asking a breeder how many geckos they have is like asking a woman how much she weighs, Yeah, its leg is really bad on this gecko. But leg has healed up completely. It is now a firm bone and not jiggly anymore, so that's amazing. She hatched in 2015, so going to be 3. And you know, as always, I always show, just for the sake of video, because a lot of these YouTube videos are just for like a video documentation for myself. And I will always show like how thin a female's tail will get when breeding. This is, of course, from breeding, so it's nothing to be alarmed about. And she will actually get much skinnier. This is a pure fasciolatus, and they can look wrecked by about September or August. When they're done breeding, it's just like, jeez. 0, 3, 6, 53 grams. She's 53 grams, so she's a fairly long animal. And she produces an amazing amount of eggs. And of course, she produced one right on... Oh, is it lagging? Yeah, it happens often. Oh, she actually... Wait, what's going on here? She produced 3 eggs. Here's another one. Another bad egg. And a good egg. That's amazing. I actually have a book that the Soviet biologists did when they were in Afghanistan and around in the Middle East. And it talks about how they had Turkmenicus in the laboratory producing 3 eggs in a clutch. Which is, you know, quite a feat of engineering. Okay, so we got 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 3, 0, 6, female, 1, 5, 18. So she produced 3 eggs at once. That's pretty cool. I doubt any of them will be... Well, maybe this last one. It's a little dented. But we're going to go ahead and incubate it for female. Just because a lot of my... Like her... Yes, I sell them. I mean, I produce an amazing amount of animals. So I have to sell them. Or else I'll go crazy. If you hit me up on my Facebook page, then I can get you... I don't think that I put the link to my website in this video. It's bbstudios.com. But if you go to Facebook, there's a link to my website where you can find out all that information and all that fun stuff. What's the perfect weight for female to start breeding? It's not necessarily weight, it's proportion. You're going to want the tail to be probably 75 to 100% more than this one has. And you're going to want her hips. Like, if you saw the Gecko before, she is ready to breed. Here, let me go grab her so I can just show you guys real quick. Now, you see how her hips are jutting out like that? That means that she is ovulating. Now that's just her on her period releasing eggs. Now you see this female, how her hips are just huge? She actually has infertile eggs in there. That's what that, you know, squared off rectangle shape is on her. So that is how you're going to see if they're ready. You don't want them too small. In in the early 2000s to like 2010, it went from 35 grams to like 55 grams. That's just because the size of the animals started getting bigger because Ron Tremper was breeding as giants. And then, of course, animals that he sold not as giants went to wholesale because, you know, that was his business. So you get all of these animals that are just, I mean, pretty much most animals are going to have some level of giant genes in them. So that's where you get the size growing up. So you could even have some where they need to be 80 grams, they need to be 90 grams. It really just depends on how long and how lean your animal looks. You don't want them super overweight. Super overweight animal is going to get egg bound. Cool, yeah, go add me on Facebook. Uh, Super overweight animal is going to get egg bound. Super skinny animal is not going to make it through the season. They're going to get totally wrecked looking, and it's not going to be fun for anybody. So you just want to keep an eye on things like that. But I think I'm hitting all your guys' questions pretty good. If you add me on Facebook and just message me, add the Thor Gecko Facebook page. Message me some pictures of your animals and what their weights are right now. And, you know, I'll tell you if they're proportionately looking like they should breed. But here, I'll show you guys a picture of a yearling that... This is one of the reasons why they shouldn't be bred at just 1 year, because they don't have enough growth to them. This is another pure fasciolatus, so it kind of has its own stereotype for when it should be bred. But generally, unless you power feed or something like that, they're not going to be up to size in a year at normal breeding. I've started cooling them in the winter, and I've noticed that 2-year-olds are totally ready to breed, and they have really good egg production, rather than breeding them their first year and getting a few eggs and then getting a few eggs their second year. If you cool them, do a brumation, which is a natural thing that happens out in the wild. Essentially what it is just giving them a winter. Give them a little bit of winter, and then turn the heat back on in a few months, and they're ready to go. They'll actually start ovulating and all that. So I don't know what the first comment was. I saw what Little C wrote. Boobs. Yeah. Some geckos have that, the calcium sacs, but not all of them. I don't know if that's what you're talking about or if you're just trying to be funny. So it is cool that a lot of people are watching this time. I mean, try to stay a little active on this channel. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but I don't know. I'm hoping 2018 is going to be a pretty active streaming year. I'm going to be streaming the geckos, and I also do the whole video game thing, so that's going to be fun to start streaming that in March. So this is going to be another lavender animal. If you've been watching since the beginning of the stream, pretty much, I think it was like the 8th animal we showed, something like that. It was one of her aunts. This is another really lavender animal. She is gonna be 2 in April. She's just about done breeding. I messaged you on Facebook. My name is Maxim. Cool. I will message you back later tonight. I've got quite a few animals to go through. But, okay, so this one, I thought it was 3, I think I said I thought it was 3 years old. Hatched April of 16. So this year is the 2nd year. That is why she has been bred. Now she's down to 47 grams, and she is just about done breeding. So, I don't think that she's going to be giving me many more clutches this year. And I don't double clutch. A lot of people have been doing that lately, where they'll try to get 2 clutches a year out of their geckos. I just don't. I don't know. I don't feel like I need that many animals, especially when I'm not breeding everything that I have every year. I like to switch off. And also I'm raising up geckos for 2 years before or 2 seasons before I breed them. So like this girl bred in November, I think. I don't know, something like that. Got it all written down. It's hard when you breed them in 1 year and then you move to your next planner and it's like, oh, I gotta go run and look in my last year's planner for when this did what. But yeah, I'm really liking this one. She's pretty bold. Didn't lose any of the bold and didn't lose the lavender, so that's always a plus. Alright, so here is a really nice looking breeder. At the beginning of the season, they're gonna look like this. How much food do you go through a month for your geckos? Oh, jeez. Probably $50 to $100, depending on how many feeders I produce myself. In the winter time, it's about $50. This is the dark one. Why is this so light? Oh, jeez. Hang on, I gotta... Okay. I go through a lot of food. Hey, no problem, Max. Thanks for watching the stream. I know it can get a little crazy. I mean, we're hitting an hour in about 30 seconds, so... normally I just do like 15 to 30, sometimes 45 minutes, but... I don't know, we might just do two racks tonight and just see how long it takes us. Especially with gathering eggs and stuff like that, it's pretty intense. But the first rack was a half rack, so it's only 12 tubs, and the second rack is 24 tubs. So you can kind of see it's about 30 to 45 minutes for a half rack, about an hour to an hour and a half for a full rack, depending on how much time you're taking if you're collecting eggs. So in one night you could spend, you know, about 3 hours down here, because of course you know, I sanitize everything before I start cleaning, and then I sanitize everything when I'm done. I gotta clean the feeders every once in a while, especially when you get new feeders. Uh, that's always fun to separate and sort and get everybody where they're going. So I mean, geckos takes a lot of time. If you're just talking about a rack of 12, and that's your breeders, and then you've got a rack of 24, and then of course that rack of 12 is going to make way more than 24 geckos. You know, you might be looking at, you know, maybe 20 to 30 hours a week with just 12 breeders. Granted, that would be your female breeding rack. So, you know, that's something to think about. How many females you have. Each female can produce anywhere from 10 to 20 babies. I really enjoy geckos, so it's not crazy having as many as I have, because it's just something fun that I do, you know, basically for myself. And I like to get the information out to you guys. Come here, buddy. So this guy's in shed, but when you see his pattern, you're kind of going to get the idea of, you know, look at that head pattern going on. It's almost completely outlined with a bold marking around the outside of the head. This is I think this guy's got totally clear eyes. GG16. So it's a male. Yeah, that's just like really, really cool head pattern. Okay, yeah, I think this is the totally clear-eyed one. So I'm gonna try to get you guys a shot of this. What we're going for. Look at how the eyes are. See how he looks like he's got albino eyes on a not albino? That is what the Clear Eyed Eclipse project is shooting for. Been working on it for quite a few years. Back when it was Ron Tremper's Abyssinian project, I got some geckos from, well, so how it went was I bought either the Fascios or the Turks, one of those shipments. When did you get your first gecko? Okay, I got my first gecko in 2003. I was still in high school, and it, you know, sometimes people don't have families that are very supportive of things. So my mom was with this, just like this total asshat that was very abusive to animals and stuff. So I ended up getting rid of the geckos. And by that I mean just giving them to the local pet store. It was a horrible situation. I mean, this guy, I got a dog once, and I'm walking in the garage, and he kicks the dog, and it goes out the door from the house into the garage. And then I was just like, okay, I gotta take this dog back. And I had it for like 2 days. So, you know, that should tell you. But after that, in 2005, when I moved out, I was finally 18, and I went ahead and got a 1.6 of het Ember. And essentially what it was it was a Tremper male, there was a Tremper female, and there was a Murphy patternless female, and they were all het for Ember. But I never landed on an Ember. I got Eclipses, I got Murphy patternlesses, and I did it like a breeding colony. Back then, it was very popular. If you read Ron Tremper's book from 2003, 2005, something like that, his first, the big book, like the Gecko Bible, he talks about the Huddleston experiment, where this guy put all these geckos. Maybe not all. I think he might have started with 2. I forget how it goes. But anyways, the end result was he had tons of geckos living together. You know, that's just what they did. So that's what I was kind of like emulating. But of course, I just did it with my breeders. I didn't have the babies in there. Because one of the things that Patrick Huddleston was talking about was the parents of other geckos were actually eating the babies. And then, of course, you would have fighting and cannibalism between males. Males would eat males and so on and so forth. Here's another male from the Clear-Eyed Eclipse project. This one is actually a, I guess you could call it hypotangerine. It's got a little bit like borderline hypo, just because of the spots and stuff in the middle. Maybe even just calling it a tangerine, but it's got so much of the yellow coloring that, I don't know. I just call it a Clear-Eyed Eclipse cross. So, what I was doing was group breeding on sand, okay? It was, back in 2005. So I did that for about 5 years, 4 or 5, no, yeah, 2005 to 2010. 2010, I got like invested in serious genetics and stuff like that. Somewhere in between like 2007 to 2010, I switched to many terrariums. So I had everybody in their own thing. And do you know any channels that breed Pac-Man frogs? Because Pac-Man. Actually, one of my good friends, Mike Matson, Mike's Fat Frogs, fat with a P-H-A-T. He's really great. If you look at some of my videos that I've posted of the albino translucent crossed diamond tadpoles that I bought from him, I wasn't so successful with Pac-Man frogs. I spent a lot of money on a breeding setup that I still have. I mean, like a lot of money. And I just, I got some kind of weird bacteria in with some plants, and basically most of it died, and what I sent away went to people that ended up not breeding, and, they sold them off and stuff like that. The way it goes in the hobby. So if that's something you're wanting to do, Pac-Man frogs, I mean, go forth and breed Pac-Man frogs. Don't listen to anybody that says that you shouldn't or you can't or that's not your thing. I mean, they don't know what your thing is. Mike was like, I think he was like 22 or 23 when he got started with Pac-Man frogs. And he was like that kid that, everybody, oh, some kid wants to breed them. And now look at him. He's got like this huge facility with these huge ponds that he's breeding all of these Pac-Man frogs. He's got so many first morphs that are his. I mean, I don't know. When it comes to Pac-Man frogs, I mean, that community that's like, it's not a small community, because each Pac-Man frog makes like 15 to 2,000 babies. 1,500 to 2,000 babies. So, yeah, you can see this guy's got snake eyes. Do you still have the first breeding pair of geckos? No, I don't. When I found out that they were muddied blood, I got rid of them. What they were was, of course, Hepfer, Ember, but I also found out that there is rainwater mixed in. So I think that's like a cyclone or something. The rainwater... No, maybe not a cyclone. I think cyclone's a max snow Ember. But anyways, whatever the... Don't listen to that. I don't know for sure. Whatever the rainwater version is, basically how the email went was I saw that there were some rainwater ones and some Tremper ones from the breeder that sold to the pet store that I got in 2005. It's not a very, it's a very selective morph back then. Very rare project. Wasn't that your... Yeah, those were the pet store geckos. So when I found out that they were, horrible, muddy genetics, I bailed on that project. And it was so hard because the male Tremper for Ember that I had, he is Thor. That was Thor, like, that made Thor Gecko. And so it was just, like, so hard to get rid of that group because, I mean, he's, like, the coolest gecko, the nicest gecko. He'd watch movies with you, and I don't talk about that a lot because I think a lot of people that watch movies with geckos are crazy. But, I mean, he would do everything with you and just chill. So that was super hard. Let me grab some more geckos here. Oh yes, we've got some more eggs. Eggs, eggs, eggs. Beautiful eggs, beautiful eggs. Yeah, it was so hard. And that's just when you have to say, I'm never going to support that breeder. You're watching it live with your gecko? I'm not going to call you crazy, even though I think you are kind of crazy. But, everybody's got their own thing. No, it's cool. I like to hang out with my geckos a lot. And I have so many, so I've got, like, huge custody battles going on down here where everybody wants time with me. 68 grams female. So this is a really cool gecko. She is hopefully going to be producing some first in the world stuff this year or next year. We'll see how it goes. Did you just give me one egg? No, there's two. One's hiding. Oh, the one hiding is all messed up. Wow. I'm gonna, like, legit send this straight to the male incubator. This is, like, a project that I've been working on for 4 or 5 years. It started out as making some pure genes and then mixing them, and it's hopefully gonna turn out great. Hang on one second, I can't see your comments right now. Yeah. Jeez, it's getting so hot in here even with the fan on. So I do use Hatchright. That's probably upside down for you guys, huh? Here you go. Hatchright. Big old bag of it. When I do it in these little bins. And I add a little bit of water because I don't trust Hatchright. I think they've got some conspiracy against me. Okay, so up. I almost got that. Some of your females look the same as mine, but they don't breed. I wish it would, like, ding or something when somebody comments, because it's kind of ridiculous. Or I wish it would post the comments down below, because it is, like, aggravating to not know what's going on. Okay. One for the male incubator. Okay, poke a little pinhole, and we're gonna write on it. So many eggs today. This is also why brumation is good. Because, oh jeez, what were those other eggs numbered? 13. So this is 14 and 15. And I even number the eggs that don't do good. 0, 1, 4, 0, 1, 5. I number eggs that don't survive because... Hang on, I'm going to lose my... 0, 1, 0, 5, 18. I label the ones that don't survive because... Jeez. Because I like to keep track of how many eggs each female lays. There, I could spit it out. Maybe this egg is still good. I am going to... No, I don't want to risk it. No, I should. I should risk it for a biscuit. I like to keep track of how many eggs each female lays, so I will record every single egg that's laid. And I'm going to check this egg tomorrow. Just because you see how dented it is. I want to make sure that it's not all messed up and molded and get the other egg. So, this girl will be a lot of fun. Just we're like halfway through this second rack. It's gonna be a long night. And I think that I'll stream until the phone says that my battery's getting low. So we'll just do a really long stream tonight. That's what I like to do on like the... I feel so bad for the people that watch me streaming video games because it's like so long. I don't know, do you guys play video games? Is that like a thing? I don't know, I feel kind of weird. I'm like 30 and playing video games, but a lot of the people on YouTube playing video games are like in their 40s. I don't know, I guess older people can afford all the new stuff right as soon as it comes out. And they're legally allowed to test games. I mean, a lot of kids can't. But there are some kids making like millions of dollars a year doing video games on YouTube. It's crazy. I don't make millions of dollars. I think I get like maybe $10 a month for the video games on YouTube that I do. I definitely, no, maybe like, yeah, like $5 or $10. How do breeders breed angry Leos? Very, very carefully. I actually have a male that will really beat up on females really bad. Hang on, I gotta dump out some of this coat fiber. He'll really beat up on females. So bad. But, I don't know, I guess just don't breed those males if they're angry. It's not worth it. Breeding angry geckos is not fun. Here's another cool gecko that did not sell. This girl I'm actually going to be keeping as a tester because she's a raptor. Can always test for eclipse and tremper all day long. Especially with the clear-eyed eclipse stuff, I like to keep it as het-free from albino as possible. Hang on one second, guys. I'll be right back. like to keep the clear-eyed eclipse stuff as het-free as possible, just because if you keep Tremper out of it, at some point we'll get really, really nice 49 grams. Really, really nice clear-eyed eclipse that are pure, that can cross into Bell and other things like that. It's okay if it's long, because talk about stuff we don't know and we learn it, so it's fun. I really appreciate that. Like, I miss late night Leos doing the radio show and just talking for 3 hours. That was my Saturday night, every single night. But unfortunately, when you said that, the 20% thing popped up on my phone, so I am running out of time. This is a great example of an animal that is ready to breed. You see how fat her tail is? And you see how her hips are jutting out, and she's looking like she's getting ready to be forming some full-size eggs. She might actually be past her first point to breed. So if I bred her now... Oh, are you talking about Angramanu? The Iranian fat-tailed gecko? How they breed those? Let me know so I know what make sure we're all on the same page. But there was someone that was asking before, Angra, I don't know, the giant, yeah, Angramanu. Those ones, I think you actually do have to brumate. They're like the Hardwickie and the Fuscus. I never got any of those. I was supposed to get a bunch, but there was a lot of stuff that happened, and I'm sure you guys know Sasabek, Matt Baronic. He, had some mental issues and quit breeding. He was selling his for super, super cheap. I think they were like $150 shipped each, something like that, and that's what I was supposed to get in on, but I did not. I got married instead, which I do not regret at all, because I actually landed a pair of Hardwickie, the East Indian leopard geckos. I think they're the East. They might be the West. I don't know. I can't think in my head right now. It's too late for me. I'm old. It's like past my bedtime. So I landed on the Hardwickies. I didn't get to do the Angramanu yet. Maybe someday. But I don't know. I'll have to read up on those. I read up on them in like 2012 when that was first hitting the scene. They were like 3,000 to 5,000 a piece, I think is what it was. I mean, leopard geckos go for crazy prices when they first hit the market. It's so ridiculous. It's like pastels. I think Ron was selling some for like 7,000 or 9,000, and then it's like, oh, pastel is just a a really light lavender colored animal. Ridiculous. I feel bad for people that invested in that. That's like who was my Christy Houseman was my friend at the time when the Angramanu were like 2,500, I think, 15 or 2,500, and she invested in some of those. And then the next year they were like 900, 750, and then they just kept dropping. And I don't know, I think that didn't go great for her, because I don't see her posting any of those. I know that they do have to wait until they're 3 years old, so that's a thing. Steve Sykes did sell that 165 gram monster one, which was insane. That's one that I would pay a couple $1,000s for, just because, I mean, it's huge. Like, the thing was giant. But yeah, I want to get back to this. So just so I have this in the video, so that the person that was watching and asking the proportion on when to breed an animal, this gecko is 49 grams, and she's proportionately ready to breed. She's a much smaller animal. I mean, you can see she's super dinky. Older genetics. Much older genetics from times past. I mean, you don't get geckos this small anymore. So I'm really fortunate to have, you know, just a raptor from times when the raptor first came out, and they were, you know, smaller genetics before giants got pushed into them. But yeah, anger mania would be something really cool to end up with at some point in my life. I don't know, I wouldn't mind it. But here we have another, this is another male from the, yeah, that, but it's Leo Knight. Yeah. This is another one from the Turkey Patty Project. This is a 50% Turkmenicus het for Murphy patternless. And he is ready for the year. I've got loads of 2016 animals that are going to be breeding this year, or selling as ready to breed animals. It really depends on the market and what people want. I mean, if you have pet store animals, I totally get it. Like, you could spend $100 at the pet store and get something decent looking. You know, maybe even beyond decently looking. Or you could spend $100, get something really cool online, but depending on where you live in the States, you could spend anywhere from $50 to $100 on shipping. So, you know, that's the other hard part that you got to think about is shipping. And it's like where I live, shipping is like, you know, FedEx starts at $45. Then, depending on where you live, it can go up. And then I get a box truck fee because my boxes have to be trucked to the nearest big city that has an airport that sends them down to Sacramento, that goes to Memphis. Yeah, but me, it's going to be like 150 plus, like 100 for shipping, because I'm in Canada. Yeah, that's that is crazy. Have you looked at Tug, Urban Gecko? I know Craig Stewart has really not so. I mean, about 4 years ago, really rocky reviews, and there was something with his whole snake collection that he, you know, didn't do some guy decent and whatever. But all I can say is I got a Tug Snow Diable Blanco from Craig that was amazing, and the most amazing white, and it was a Tug Snow, and I wish I hadn't have sold her, because, I mean, Tug Snow, like a dominant snow gene in Diable Blanco. She was amazing. But that's just something in breeding geckos, that you sell stuff that you love and you get other stuff that you love. Like this little beast that's coming up. Let's wait for the scale to zero out. Oh, he's a little aggressive. This is a pretty aggressive breeder and aggressive male. You see how large his head is? Wow, he's just standing on one leg. He's got arching his back. He's gonna get me. He's just gonna jump straight out of that thing and like bite my face and eat me whole. Or so he thinks. This is an Emmer Green from Brian at Zoo Guy Geckos. That's Brian's own line of Emmerine, and he's got an amazing stripe. Now, yeah, little buddy. You see behind on the butt right there where it normally has that band? This guy has a full stripe. Like, this is a dream cornerstone male for anybody breeding stripes. He's perfect. And he's bred quite a bit this year. already. Really aggressive breeder. Not angry, though. He's not an angry breeder. He doesn't attack. He's just on it right away. He's like ready to wine and dine everybody right now. Which I guess is a good thing. It saves me from a lot of headaches. But as far as me touching him, he doesn't really care for it. Now, I say that I haven't been bit by, you know, no serious bites. Little nips and stuff. Yeah, all geckos are going to do that. But I haven't had any serious bites in like over 10 years. But the reason for that is that I look at my animals and I see if it's okay for me to touch them or not. I mean, if it's not okay for you to touch your animal, then I'll show you what I do. I'm going to give you 5 super worms because you didn't finish all yours. What I do is I just slide him right on out, and he's fine. I seem to have lost my marble eye. I don't know where my marble eye mail went. He is... Oh, he's in the last rack breeding. That's fun. Wow, we got over an hour and a half. Now this next gecko is really cool. I've had her for like 5 years, I think. She must be like 5 or 6 years old. Come on, girl. She is a pure Turkmenicus. Her tail is not thin yet. You can see it's a little bit wider than the base of her tail. And that's about where it sits on her. Her tail has never gotten fatter than that. And if it ever has, it was very rarely, like it went back down in size. And she's not thin. She just carries her weight in other places. So, not every gecko is going to live up to the stereotypes, and especially the species and subspecies. This is a species. So this is not your normal morphs. This is a completely different species. This is like an Angermainu or a Hardwicke or a Fuscus. This is a Turkmenicus. So they're all Ublepharis, the genus, and then the species is Turkmenicus, where a morph is Ublepharis macularis macularis, or the Afghanicus is Ublepharis macularis afghanicus, Fasciolatus is Ublepharis macularis fasciolatus. Fasciolatus is a subspecies. Afghanicus, montanus, those are subspecies. This is its own species, like it's not a subspecies. So it's its own species of gecko. This is a Turkmenistan fat-tailed gecko. So they call it Turkmenicus because it comes from Turkmenistan. And she is a female. And 58 grams. So when they say breed at 55, I mean, I'd like to get her to 65 before I start breeding. She doesn't breed very often just because I bred her before with the sketchy looking tail, and she got thin on her body. The tail didn't get much thinner, but she just, I don't know. I don't know if, like, you know, in the wild they look wrecked. Like, they look horrible in the wild. They're not fat on the belly like this at all. They're all skinny, they're all wrinkly, loose skin hanging off, stick tail, running around. They look like crap. So, I'm happy with her looking this way for being a, you know, I don't even know what else to say. Like, I've seen some that are with fatter tails, but they don't have the Turkmenicus look. Like, they don't have the bold on the banding and then the reduced spotting in between the bands. They just don't look like a Turkmenicus. And we're down to 10%. That's a big problem, is whether or not a lot of these are pure Turkmenicus or if they're just mixed in with other stuff because people see them in the wild and they're like, I want to make some money. So this girl came from a pretty reliable bloodline. I got her from Pat Klein at Luxurious Leopards, and that's that. I mean, come on. The Turkmenicus are very sketchy. They're fast, crazy animals. It took me years to tame these guys down. And of course, here I'll show you a... you live in Quebec? Oh, geez, that's really far. I bet it's really snowy right now. This is Ublepharis macularis fasciolatus. This is also one of the ones, this is what they would look like out in the wild. A fascio out in the wild. Now, macularis macularis is also its own thing. So, this is completely different. This is unrelated to any of the morphs. That's why people like to use the fascios and the Montanus and the Afghanicus in breeding projects, because it really, really brings out the... This brings out the pastel and lavender colors. Makes really light, creamy animals. Same with the Montanus. Montanus brings out some snow-looking animals. Do you have any eggs for me? Nope, no eggs for you. Bad human. So in the wild, this is one of the ones that you would come across as a pure fascio. I have a decent colony of fascios. And they make great babies. Really healthy animals. And they clean up your bloodlines. I looked, but my dad does not want to buy more because I can't get a mealworm farm up. Yeah, mealworms are hard. I know what you mean. And you definitely want to start breeding your own feeders. Hang on one second. Yeah, you definitely want to breed your own feeders. If mealworms aren't working out for you, maybe you should switch over to superworms. Those might be a little bit easier. Yeah, crickets are crazy. I would do everything you can to breed your own feeders. Crickets are horribly disgusting to breed, but superworms are easier. I will show you. Hang on one second. So when you separate all the superworms, you get these huge pupa. And these huge pupa, they will not pupate when they're together, so you have to separate your superworms. Then these huge pupa are going to turn into these huge beetles. And you see that shiny stuff? It's like eking on me. And these huge beetles are going to lay tons and tons of eggs. All over the place. And that's it. Supers are the way to go. I don't feed a lot of mealworms. Mealworms have more chitin, the exoskeleton. Superworms have a lot less. They're not as hard-bodied. They're a soft-bodied. You know, they're really squishy. Don't be afraid of them biting your gecko. If they kill your gecko was already sick with something. So don't worry about that. And of course, you can always test for parasites in your geckos and stuff like that. I should probably throw up a video on how to do that, because that's something that people ask me a lot about. But it involves a microscope. It doesn't have to be an expensive one. It can be a cheap one. You know, you might even ask your school if they have some that they're throwing out that you can like tape together and get working. Or, you know, I don't know. You could even, I mean, if you're 14, you're in high school, I think. Canada's got high school. Yeah, it's awesome when they're active and have personality. Geckos can be, you know, amazing, or they can be super lazy and just lay around. But, you know, you might even, if you're in high school, you might be able to ask your chemistry teacher if you can borrow the microscope. You know, maybe even go on lunch and you can do a fecal float. It takes like 15 to 30 minutes. I'll throw up a video on how to do it. I won't use solutions or anything. I'll just do it with water so we can get the general idea and all of that. But yeah, if that's something that you're interested in, I can do videos and I can talk to you on the Facebook page. But here is how I do the superworms. I put my mixture in. See, I write superworms on it, so I don't like to cross-contaminate. And then everything is dusted that I feed. So that keeps it amazing and perfect. But this is going to be the end of the video. I'm at 105 minutes. That is an epic long video. I mean, an hour and 45 minutes is pretty crazy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope that you watch more videos on this channel and share the videos. Live streams are crazy because I go off in all directions. You never know what you're gonna get, and you kind of gotta watch the whole epic movie that I upload, or else you're not gonna get all the information. So I'm totally sorry about that, but that's just the way it goes with live streaming. There's things that happen. Like, if I get bit by a gecko, I'm not gonna cut it out of the video. I'm gonna deal with it, show you how to deal with it, and then we'll move on and go to the next gecko. I mean, if a gecko drops its tail, I will show you how to deal with it. I'll show you geckos that are underfed, overfed, you know, females that are getting skinny from breeding. Coming up in February and March, we're gonna have some wrecked geckos, and I'll show you the geckos, and I'll show you even how to feed them things like, what do I have here? I've got, in the box I took to Vegas, I gotta unpack it, but, you know, there's carnivore care and Reptade and Reptished and all kinds of things that you can do so that your animals don't suffer when they're, you know, getting thin, and you can get their weight back on. So we'll also go over vitamin, mineral supplements and all that stuff, calcium with D3 and without D3, low phosphorus supplements and things like that. You want to watch out for gout in your animals. Don't feed high protein meals and stuff, you know, just all kinds of things. We'll get into it as we go this year. I'm going to do smaller videos recorded on my Canon Rebel and upload them onto the playlists and stuff. I gotta get the playlist sorted out because a lot of these live streams don't go into the folders. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you on the next live stream.